this past weekend at UFC Brazil, in the main event, Marlon Moraes defeats Raphael and Assuncao in devastating fashion. Does this guy deserve the next shot at the 135-pound belt?
I don't know. When we're talking about the 135-pound division, my head is still back in time at the fight that took place two weeks ago, was it?
Yeah.
When TJ Dillashaw, the current champ at 135 pounds, guys, he went down to 125, fought Henry Cejudo in a super fight, and he lost, right?
Got knocked out.
So now for him to basically come back up and potentially defend the belt, granted, Moraes, he looked good. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but there's too much unfinished business with Dillashaw and Cejudo for me to say, let's have another person kind of step into the mix and fight from there.
So you think that Henry now deserves to go up and challenge TJ for that 135
whether they want to do that
strap.
125 or 135, that's the matchup that I need to see, frankly, right? There's unfinished business there. You agree with me?
I don't think so. I think the business is finished.
Okay.
I think that we realize, and you said this even in a few videos in the past, that TJ was depleting himself by going down to 125 and would be susceptible for that knockout. We saw that happen, but this is 10 pounds heavier now. Now we're talking about TJ's weight class. Henry, I think, has some business to do down at 125, but I think if you wait maybe 3-4 fights and then bring Henry back up, assuming they both keep winning and are on track, that's a double super fight. Not right now. We don't need back-to-back super fights because we just saw what Marlon did, and that was impressive. You're talking 3 first-round finishes in a row against top 10 competition. And the guy needs to feed his family.
He does need to feed his family, and deserving-wise, he's gotten to that point. I just don't think that the fans' attention span is going to allow for that fight to capture anyone's imagination, right? When you just lost, and everyone just saw you get, not just lost, you got knocked out. So it's going to be hard for me to accept that this is the champion, and now let's really pay attention and see how he's going to do, defending his belt.
For sure.
There's too much of that.
The curse of the super fights is what I call it.
And,
where it's like, so now there's always going to be a loser in a super fight, and now they can never rebound. Even when Conor won against Jose Aldo, and then he left the division, and then Jose Aldo's back at 145, but you're looking at Jose like, you're not the guy. The GOAT just moved up. So that always will happen. I think that TJ versus Marlon is a great matchup for the hardcore fans, I guess. Obviously, it's not going to drive results for the casuals, but the new UFC on ESPN deal might help out the casual fans because you got a lot of more people watching and putting eyes on these guys that they would otherwise not know. So give them the fight, put them on an ESPN Plus card instead of a pay-per-view, obviously, and see what happens,
And Raj, the last thing I would say there, I guess, is if the fight does happen again, if they choose to do the rematch between Dillashaw and Cejudo, and they do it at 125 pounds, well, now we know that Marlon's probably at a point where you got to give him at least an interim strap, because of the disrespect. I mean, he has been showing improving the entire time. I just, frankly, don't care to see it right now.